Well, good morning, everybody. It's a Saturday morning, April the 2nd. We made it past April Fools. It's roughly 9:23 here on the East Coast, and we're ready for another Strat-O-Matic 2015 Demolition League style. And today's game fits the Philadelphia Phillies hosting the Cincinnati Reds from Veterans Stadium. Of course, we're doing advanced, not super advanced, so ballpark effects aren't going to come into play, but just for your mind's eye, we are at Veterans Stadium. And we get ready for some baseball. Let's go through some of the preliminaries so we can get everything set up. Let's move these out of the way. So we look at Series 6, which we are now on. The regularly scheduled game would have been San Francisco, Arizona, but the Seattle-Cincinnati game from Series 5, the video screwed up, so I never got a chance to show Cincinnati. So for the Reds fans out there, we're going to skip down a couple of games, and we're going to do Cincinnati at Philadelphia. It's actually matchup 4, but it really doesn't, I guess, matter all that much. Hello, John. How are you doing? Like I said, I don't want to, go against the Reds because they were unfairly skipped last time because of my technical snafu. Just to give you an update, these are the current standings. The Mets lead by a half game because they played, remember in Series 6, last video on Saturday, the Mets and Cleveland played, so they got the extra game in. So they are actually 11-5, a half game ahead of Tampa Bay. Cleveland's a full game back because they've also played 16 games. And everybody else is a game short. Boston, Seattle, Houston, Arizona, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Cincinnati actually swept Seattle in all 3 games, so they went from 3-9 to 6-9, riding a 3-game winning streak. And that also pushed the Phillies to last place, unfortunately for them. But they're at home, so they're hoping that something good can come of it. Hello, Mr. Replay Gamer. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning. Let's look at the MASH report and see what we've got. 2 injuries for the Reds, which are impacting them in this game. Jay Bruce in the last game was injured for 3 games, so Christopher Negron has been called up to take his place. Zach Cozart was injured a couple games ago. He's got 1 more game to go in his injury, so they've brought up to Jesus to fill up that roster spot as well. In the last game for the Phillies, Maikel Franco was injured for 5 games, so they've called up Darnell Sweeney to take his spot on the roster. So we had to do a little bit of shuffling with the injuries and so forth. That's part of why it's called the Demolition League, I guess, because we're having to, rearrange these things and get things figured out. And so with that in mind, let's look at the starting pitchers for today's game. First, for the host Phillies, it'll be right-hander Aaron Harang. In the 15 season, he was 6-15 with a 4.86 ERA. He'll be making his 4th start of the season. I do have the game up on the computer, so I will be able to give the stats as they go along, so we'll get to his stats later. For the Reds, it'll be right-hander Anthony DeSclafani, and on the 15 season, he was 9-13 with a 4.05 ERA. Those are the starting pitchers for each team. Let's look at the rest rolls that came up in today's game. The Reds did not have any rest. Hello, Larry. How are you doing? The Reds had no rest to worry about. The Phillies had to rest Odubel Herrera, who is normally their center fielder and leadoff man, so he has to rest. So they made some adjustments in the lineup that way as well, as Ben Revere will move from left field to center field and will move from about the 7th position up to leadoff in this ball game. So let's look at the starting lineups for each team after all the injuries and rest and whatnot. For the Reds, it's Phillips at second, Schumacher's in left, Votto's at first, Frazier's at third, Suarez is at short, Bird's in right, Pena catching, DeSclafani will pitch and bat 8th, and then Billy Hamilton will bat 9th, the old Joe Madden deal. So Hamilton will bat 9th. For the Phillies, Revere is in center field leading off. Utley's at second. Jeff Francoeur is in right, hitting third. Ryan Howard's in cleanup, playing first base. Freddie Galvis bats 5th and plays short. Cody Ashley's at third. He will hit 6th. Ruiz, the catcher, will bat 7th. Darren Ruff in left will hit 8th, and Aaron Harang is the pitcher. Now, one caveat here. The backup catcher, Cameron Rupp, is still injured for about a week, and the Phillies had no other backup catchers on their roster that were carded. They did have Eric Kratz, who played about 4 games, So I've got him up on the computer. So if Ruiz gets injured, I do have a backup catcher that I can bring in from the computer, and I'll just have to, roll the dice and read off the computer card. But I'm not going to substitute Ruiz unless he gets hurt. That's the only way I'm going to do that. So just wanted to mention that because Cameron Rupp is injured for another week. All right, injury chances for the starting pitchers. Both of them have a 1, so that means 6-12 is the roll we're looking for both. If we roll a 6-12, then there's a possibility that they may, in fact, be injured. All right, so I'm going to move the score sheet off to the side because I've been doing this new setup here, or semi-new setup. Let's put this over here to cover up our Strat-O-Matic pitcher over there. Don't need to see him. We'll just have this here. Add as much aesthetics as I can, and not a whole lot of aesthetics to add, but I'm trying. Let's see here. I think I can move some of this stuff down to fit the dice tray. Let's see if we can do that. I want to keep the line score still in play. So I've got a little bit extra room here, I think. Could actually do it this way. Let me try it. I saw RJL do that with the diagonal thing, so maybe that's a better deal to do it this way. See if that works. I'm experimenting as I go, so anything I can do to try to make it better, we'll see. All right, now I do have the little, for those that didn't see it last time, I do have the little cutouts. So when base runners get on base for the Reds, I will have these little decals or little things out there to represent the base runners instead of the pawns. At least you know what team is out there. Now the Phillies, when I printed them out, they came out a little large. So I'm going to have to use these and hope they don't take up too much room, but that's what I would be using for the Phillies. So when people get on base, you know what team is on base and whatnot. So that's what I'm going for. Using the old Strat-O-Matic original board here, but I do have Veterans Stadium in the background just to give you a feel that you're at Veterans Stadium. Got the red and white dice because both teams' colors are red and white. All right, so I'm thinking that we are ready to go. Let me just double check and make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I do have the, one thing I forgot to do, I usually like to do is do the bench and bullpens for both teams. That might be a good thing to do if I want to be consistent with what I've done in the past. So let's grab, first of all, the visiting Cincinnati Reds and their bench. They have Christopher Negron. He's the one they called up when Bruce got hurt. And then Ivan DeJesus, who got called up when Cozart got hurt. We got reserve outfielder Brendan Bosch and backup catcher Tucker Barnhart. Those are the 4 guys on their bench. And actually, they should have 5 guys on the bench. Who am I missing? Let me pull up a card here because I'm missing one of their cards. Who did I forget to pull out? Oh, Bourgeois. Some reason Jason Bourgeois was not pulled out. He's also on the bench because you're supposed to have 5 guys on the bench when there's no DH. And where did my Jason Bourgeois go? I misplaced my Jason Bourgeois card for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, here he is. There's Jason Bourgeois. He's also on the bench. Don't want to forget him. They do have 5 bench players. Both teams have 5 bench players because there's only 8 batting. And to get to 13 position players, you need that 5 on the bench. So slight snafu there, but didn't want to forget him. Now let's look at the bullpens, our bullpen for the Reds. The 2 lefties, Tony Cingrani and Manny Parra. Right-handers J.J. Hoover, Burke Badenhop, Pedro Villarreal, Jumbo Diaz, and the closer, Aroldis Chapman. So those are the gentlemen that are available to come off out of the bullpen for the Reds. So if you wonder why I didn't use somebody for the Reds, it's because they're not available. Hey, Manuel, how you doing? Is it Manuel or Manuel? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but good to see you. My pronunciations are not always the best with names, that's for sure. All right, for the Phillies, let's look at their bench and bullpen. And, of course, on the bench, the rested Adupo Herrera. And then they also have backup infielder Andres Blanco, backup infielder Cesar Hernandez, backup utility man Darnell Sweeney. He got called up to replace Michael Franco. And Eric Kratz is the 5th member if I need him. He's on the computer. I don't have a card for him. All right, in the bullpen, the 2 lefties, Jake Diekman and Elvis Araujo. And then the right-handers, Genmar Gomez, Justin DeFreitas, Luis Garcia, Hector Neris, Ken Giles, and the closer Jonathan Papelbon before he gets traded to the Nationals. Right now he's still with the Phillies. So that's the bench and bullpen that I have. Let me double check the setup. Let's see here. Is this copacetic to you guys? Can you see everything? Let me roll the dice once and make sure they show up on the camera. This is just a practice roll to make sure they show up. So, looks like I need to push this up just a hair because that die right here didn't show all the way. So I think we're okay now. I would like to think we're okay now. All right, so we're ready to go. Aaron Harang. And let me bring up the Strat-O-Matic computer part so I can get you the numbers on Aaron Harang on the replay. Aaron Harang is 2-0 with a 1.33 ERA. He's had a really great start to the season. It's kind of a shame he's only 2-0. This is his fourth start. He's pitched 20 innings, only given up 10 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 2 home runs for Aaron Harang. Leading off for the Cincinnati Reds will be Brandon Phillips. And again, the Reds are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Mariners. That was at their own ballpark, but now they're on the road, so see if it makes any difference or not. And Phillips is doing very well. He's been red hot. He's hitting .354 in 65 at-bats, a homer and 6 driven in. All right, so this is Series 6, Game 4, Matchup 1. The replay date is April the 30th, and we are underway. That's a 1-7 for Phillips. A 1-10 is a single. Anything else, he lines it to third. And that's a single, leadoff single for Brandon Phillips. And the Reds have a base runner right off the bat in Mr. Phillips, who is an A stealer. So good chance he might be trying to run here. Ruiz is a +1 throwing arm to top it all off. So Phillips, as an A stealer, starts as a 15. Being held makes him you subtract 2, makes him a 13. But the +1 from Ruiz makes him a 14. So 1-14, Phillips will steal it. And he does. So it's a stolen base for Brandon Phillips. He gets a single and then steals second to get the Reds off to a fast start. And Skip Schumacher is now the batter. And on the replay, he hasn't had that many at-bats. He's had 27 at-bats. He's hitting .222. I think that comes out to like 6 for 27 or something like that. But he's hitting .222, no homers or runs driven in. Hello, Mr. B.R. Wells. How are you doing? Hopefully you guys can see everything on the screen. It looks like from my vantage point you can see everything, but I just want to make sure. Mr. RJL, how are you doing, sir? Good morning to you. All right, so Phillips has singled and stole second to lead the ball game off, and now Skip Schumacher, the batter. And Mr. Harang has to get control here. Hello, John. How are you doing? Mr. West. All right, so Phillips, obviously, as an ace stealer, will be held on second, so the plus signs will come into play if they're rolled. Harang 5-10, and that's a fly to center. There's a ballpark effect here, but we're not doing that in advance. And it's a fly ball C, so that means the runner has to hold. It's not deep enough for him to move up, so it's simply a fly to center. Simply a fly to center, little can of corn by Schumacher. Hauled in out there by Mr. Revere, who's taken the place of the rested Odubel Herrera. And that'll bring up Joey Votto. Joey Votto, and in case anybody came in late and missed the injury check, Jay Bruce was injured for 3 games in the last series against Seattle, so he is not in the lineup. He's not available. So they had to juggle the lineup, but they are missing one of their big guns. Jay Bruce is unavailable. Here's Joey Votto, and on the replay, he's hitting .265 with a homer and 9 driven in. That's a 6-8 against Harang, and that's a ground ball second base X. Second baseman is Utley. He's only a 4, not very good. 4 and a 17, though, he might get away with it. A 4 and a 17 as a second baseman is a ground ball C. So he makes the play. The runner will advance to third. Phillips will take third on the play, on the ground out. But now there are 2 outs, and it's up to the Todd father, Todd Frazier, to get the run home. And I am putting this in the computer as I play it, so that's the little slight delay in between dice rolls. So now that brings up the aforementioned Todd Frazier. Frazier is really nailing it. He's hitting .387, 6 homers and 20 runs driven in just 62 at-bats. So he's got 6 home runs and 62 at-bats already. He had 35 and 619 in the season, so he's definitely off to the good start. Harang has to get out of this against Frazier. 6-7, and he won't do it. That's a 1-2 double, 3-20 for a single, so the run will score automatically from third. It is a single. So RBI single for Todd Frazier, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first as Phillips trots home. So kind of a manufactured run. Single stolen base, goes to third on a ground out, and then scores on the single by Frazier. And the Reds lead it 1-0. And that brings up Eugenio Suarez. He is playing shortstop for the injured Zach Cozart. Cozart will be available in the next game, but he's just out this game. Suarez on the replay is hitting .333 and 33 at-bats, 3 homers and 7 driven in. First baseman, or runner at first, Frazier, is a B stealer, so they will have to hold him on. He won't try to go anywhere, but they will have to hold him on. Can't ignore him. 1-9, and he struck out Suarez to end the inning. So Harang gets out of further damage, but 1 run is already in. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Cincinnati 1 and the Phillies coming to bat. And Anthony DeSclafani will be your starting pitcher. And on the replay, DeSclafani, he's pitched well, but he's got no run support. He's 0-2, but his ERA is only 3.32. 19 innings pitched, 24 hits, 2 walks, and 17 strikeouts. So a great walk to strikeout ratio, but again, run support lacking. So that can happen sometimes. You never know. Hey, BB, how are you doing? And I think this is the first video I've done in about a month at least where I haven't had some sort of ailment bothering me, where I'm sniffling or coughing or sneezing or wheezing or doing something. So I feel pretty good today, knock on wood, so we'll see how it goes. And Ben Revere will lead things off, normally in left field, but he's playing center field today for the rested Odubel Herrera. Hey, Brad, how are you doing? Frenchie's coming up third this inning, so be on the lookout. He's batting third in the lineup, as usual. Ben Revere hitting only .233 and 43 at-bats, no homers and 1 run driven in. And for anybody that came in late, I'll show this again very quickly, not to belabor it, but I'll show it very quickly. These are the standings after 15 games. Now the Mets and Cleveland played 16 games, but after 15 games, the Mets hold a half-game lead over Tampa Bay because they played that extra game. And you can see the matchup here. The Reds have actually won 3 in a row. They went from 3-9 to 6-9. Phillies are in last place, but I'm playing the Reds because they got kind of skipped over last in Series 5 because the video screwed up with Cincinnati and Seattle, so I felt almost duty-bound to play them now, even though it's a little bit out of order. And the match report, Jay Bruce is out for 3 games. Christopher Negron was called up. Cozart is out this game. DeJesus was called up. For the Phillies, Maikel Franco out 5 games, and Darnell Sweeney was called up. So if you see guys you're not used to seeing, that's why, because of the injuries. All right. Enough of that. Let's go to Ben Revere. Yes, Brad, I'm feeling so much better and energetic and ready to roll. So not that I'm going to play 2 or anything, but, you know, that's the way it is. Oh, before I get going, I did want to mention one thing. Next Saturday is April the 9th. And that's going to be this. So this Saturday today is the last Saturday live stream that I'm doing for the Demolition League, because next Saturday we start the 1986 replay using 4 different game engines: Inside Pitch, Payoff Pitch, Strat-O-Matic, and APA to do the Game of the Week, NBC Game of the Week for 1986. And the opening game of the week is going to be the real opener on the Game of the Week, and that is the Mets at the Phillies. So be ready for that next Saturday. I used to do those at 2 o'clock to try to match up the way it used to be in, back in the day. But my schedule's changed a little bit, so these are going to be at noon. So Saturday noon will be the game next Saturday. noon, inside pitch. Mets at Phillies. Pitching matchup is El Cid against Steve Carlton. And then the second game, I don't know what the schedule was on NBC for the second week. So I went to Baseball Reference and looked up all the day games on Saturday. So the second game of the week on the video will be the Yankees at the Brewers. Now, like I said, that may or may not have been the game of the week. I don't know. I just took the few day games that were there and tried to pick the best matchup. And I also like, if I can, to try to go National League one week and American League the next week. So it will be the Yankees and the Brewers in the first, and that's going to be on payoff pitch. So inside pitch, the Mets and Phillies get the inside pitch, and then payoff pitch for the Yankees and the Brew Crew. So just a heads up there for that. This, like I said, this will be the last one. I'll still be doing these videos during the week and post them during the week. But for the live stream, it's going to, from now on, starting next Saturday, will be strictly the NBC game of the week at noon Eastern. Every week at noon Eastern. That's going to be my time frame. My schedule's changed, so I really can't go that late at 2 o'clock, so I'm going to do it at noon. Okay, back to the game. Ben Revere to lead it off against DeSclafani. 1-7. He's going to fly to center. That's out number one as Billy Hamilton hauls it in. So Revere is an easy out. Good start for DeSclafani. And now that'll bring up Chase Utley, second baseman. Utley on the replay. He's been injured a little bit, so he's only had 39 at bats. He's hitting a .154, no homers, 2 driven in. 6-9, and that's an in-home run chance right there on a 1-10. Utley does have normal power. So 1-10, and we got a tie game, 11-20, and Utley just hits a double. And that's a double for Chase Utley. So it's only a double, as they say, but it could, like I said, it could have been worse. It could have been a home run. So Chase Utley with a 1-out double. He is in scoring position for Mr. Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur. And on the replay, Francoeur is hitting .362, 4 homers and 10 driven in and 47 at bats. Utley is a C stealer, so let's see how he runs. He runs at a 14, so they will hold him on. They will kind of bird dog him at second, try to keep him close. DeSclafani to Francoeur. That's a 6-4. It's a catcher X. The catcher for the Reds is Brian Pena. He is only a 4, so not very good. Could be a pass ball, a wild pitch scenario here. That's a 14 for a catcher and a 4. So a 14 and a 4 is a pass ball and a pop out. So a pass ball will send Utley to... Utley will get to third base on that pass ball, but then there's a pop out. So Francoeur pops out to Pena. For out number 2, Utley does take third on the pass ball. So Francoeur unable to get it done. But Ryan Howard is still there. He could drive in the tying run, possibly. Ryan Howard on the replay, struggling though, a 157 clip in 51 at bats. He's got a homer and 6 driven in. DeSclafani, 5-10 against the lefty. That's a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So DeSclafani pitches out of it. Nothing doing for the Phillies. We go to the second inning. It is Cincinnati 1 in Philadelphia, nothing, as Ryan Howard came up a little bit short. All right, top of the second, Aaron Harang back out. And he will be facing Marlon Byrd, followed by Pena and DeSclafani, who's hitting in the number 8 position, with Hamilton batting 9th. All right, so Mr. Byrd checks in, hitting .273, 3 homers, 7 driven in 44 at bats. Harang against Byrd. That's a 2-9 for Byrd. That's a home run chance on a 1-19, so you pretty much say this is going to be gone, but we'll roll it out just to make sure. And it is gone. Marlon Byrd, home run number 4, RBI number 8. The Reds lead it 2-0. 2-0 Cincinnati on that home run by Marlon Byrd, a solo shot. And he just took that harangue pitch and just dumped it over the wall. Here's Brian Pena, the catcher, splitting time with Barnhart. In 21 at-bats, he's hitting .238, no homers and a run driven in. 6'4", he's a switch hitter batting left. Fly ball center field X, that's the center fielder, Ben Revere, who was a 2. 2 and a 6, he should get to that. I think that should be safe. 2 and a 6 is, let's see, 2 and a 6. It's fly ball B, good enough. Fly to center. 1 away as Revere retires Pena. All right, DeSclafani's got his own pitcher hitting card. And on the 2015 season, he hit .158. So it wasn't a total loss at the plate, but certainly not, not anything terrific, especially against right-handed pitching. He's only got one chance for a hit on right-handed pitching. It's right here, and a couple of walks here. So he's hoping for something off of Harangue's card. Let's see. And he does get something off Harangue's card. 5-4. It's ground ball third base X. That is the Todd father, Todd Frazier. I'm sorry, that is Ashy, rather. Ashy's only a 4, so this could get by him. 4 and a 15. He's probably going to make this play as a third baseman. A 4 and a 15. Actually, it's a single. 1 star. So how about that? DeSclafani benefits by the poor fielding of Ashy. And it's a 1-out single by the pitcher, DeSclafani. He obviously will not be held. But he got on base. And that brings up the speedster, Billy Hamilton. Might bat him leadoff later in the season, but right now they're batting him in the 9th position. Unless there's a, something going on, but that's what they're doing right now. Hamilton on the replay, not only just 21 at-bats, because he was injured a bit. In 21 at-bats, he's hitting .095, no homers and 1 driven in. Could bunt him as an excellent bunter, but there's already 1 out, so then you're putting the onus on Phillips to get a base hit. So they're going to have him swing away. 2-7 to fly to center. That's out number 2. So maybe they should have had him bunt. He is out of there. 2 down for the back to the top of the order, and Brandon Phillips. Phillips, his first time up. Singled, stole second, and scored on the RBI single by Frazier. 1-9, and he just missed another single. That's a fly to left. That's going to end the inning, and Cincinnati will come away with just the 1 run. So Cincinnati puts up another single run here in the second. Go to the bottom of the second. Still, now it's 2-0 rather in favor of the Reds. Like I said, they've won 3 in a row. They're going for trying to win 4 in a row. As they've gotten some good pitching to go along with their hitting finally. DeSclafani is back out. He will face Freddie Galvis, shortstop for the Phillies. Galvis on the replay is hitting only .213, so he's really struggling. He was at the top of the order. They've kind of dropped him down a little bit. .213 and 61 at-bats. No homers and 3 runs driven in. That's a 2-3 for Freddie Galvis, and that's a fly to left. 1 away, and Freddie Galvis' struggles continue, and that brings up the third baseman, Cody Ashy. He was moved to left field when Maikel Franco was called up, but then Franco promptly gets injured, and now he's moving back to his original third base position, which he does not play very well. Doesn't play any position really well. Doesn't hit well either. He's only hitting $179 in 39 at-bats. 1 homer and 2 driven in. 5-7. He will get the benefit off DeSclafani's card, though. 1-5 is a double. 6-20 is a solid single. And that's a double for Cody Ashy. He cranks a double to center field. And just like that, the Phillies have a runner in scoring position. The tying run is coming to the plate in the catcher, Carlos Ruiz. So Ashy with the double, and Ruiz comes up. Talk about somebody that's struggling. In 34 at-bats, He's hitting .059, no homers or runs driven in. Ashley is a runner. Check his speed or lack thereof. He's only an 11. He's the E-Steelers. They're not holding him on second. They will not hold him on second. 4-8 against DeSclafani. It's a ground ball to third. With an A there, that's going to freeze the runner. So Ashley had to hold. And now they're a 2 away. And it's all up to Darren Ruff. Now the pitcher spot is on deck. First base is open. They could choose to walk Ruff and pitch to Harang, or they can take the chance of getting Ruff out and force Harang to lead off the next inning. Ruff hitting .333 and 18 at bats. Pretty decent hitter. But you know what? DeSclafani is feeling his oats. He said, I'm going after him. So he's not going to walk him. They're going to go after him. 1-7, and it paid off. It's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So DeSclafani does the job, and that will force Harang to lead off the next inning. So the Phillies leave a runner stranded. We go to the third, 2-0 Cincinnati. And as we go to the third, let me go back to, I have been looking on the computer to do the stats, so I hadn't been looking at the chat. So if I missed anybody, I apologize. But it looks like you guys are just chatting away individually, which is wonderful. Like to see that. All right, so it is Mr. Skip Schumacher who will lead things off for the Reds against Mr. Harang. Schumacher fly to center his first time up. That's a 2-4, and 2-4 means he grounds it right back to Harang for an easy play, 1 away. 1 down for Joey Votto. Votto grounded out to Utley his first time. 6-6 against the lefty. That's a 1-5 single. Anything else, he will line it to Mr. Utley. That's a 4, so it's going to sneak by Utley for a base hit. Joey Votto. Utley just couldn't quite reach it. So Votto with a 1-out single. Now he is a B stealer, and in advance as a B stealer you start as a 13, you lose 3 for being held, makes him a 10. But Ruiz is a +1, make him an 11. That'd be a 55% chance. So it's better than 50-50. They're going to take a chance and send Votto. Votto on the 2015 season did steal 11 bases, caught 3 times. So 1-11, they're going to send him, take the chance. They're up 2-0. They're kind of playing with house money. They want to get him in scoring position. 1-11. And he's thrown out. Well, that's called being too aggressive, I suppose. Especially when you have the Todd father coming up. But, you know, what are you going to do? So Frazier will be up with 2 outs, and now the base is empty. Still a threat, though, because he can put one out of the park in a hurry. Frazier had an RBI single his first chance. 4-5, and he's going to hit a ground ball to short. That's going to be Freddie Galvis, and Galvis checks in as a 2. 2 and a 4. That could sneak by for a base hit. Check it out for shortstop. A 2 and a 4 is actually a ground ball C, so Freddie Galvis good enough to make the play, and the inning is over. So the caught stealing kind of put the kibosh on anything else that was going to happen. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 2-0 favor of Cincinnati. And now I'm going to go into the computer and put in this inning so I can keep up to date with what's going on here. So one moment while I do that. Votto singled and then got caught stealing. And then Frazier grounded to short. Okay. All right. Harang will lead it off here in the bottom of the third, trying to help his own cause. Harang as a hitter in 2015, 167, so you know, not a total waste of time, not totally inept, but not that great either. So Harang actually hoping to get something off DeSclafani's card. Does not. It's off his own card. 1-9, he strikes out. So Harang out on strikes. 1 down, back to the top of the order, and Ben Revere. 1-6, he's going to ground it to short, and Mr. Suarez makes the play. 2 down. for Chase Utley. Phillies struggling here. That's why they're in last place. 6-2. That's a walk. So DeSclafani issues a 2-out walk to Chase Utley. So Utley is aboard. He's a C stealer, but down 2-0. I don't think they're going to take the chance. Plus, with Frenchie coming up, you don't want to take the bat out of his hand. So they will hold Utley there. Utley will be held on by the Reds as a C stealer. They will hold him on, but he's not going to go anywhere. So here is Francoeur. Francoeur popped up to the catcher his first time up. 5-7. This is against DeSclafani. He's got the base hit right here. Unfortunately for the Phillies, it's 2 stars, so no matter what happens, the runner cannot score. But let's see, 1-7 is a double. It's a 10, though. It's a single for Francoeur, and that will put runners at the corners. Runners are now at the corners. Runners are at the corners with 2 down for Ryan Howard. Howard with a chance to get it done with 2 outs and runners at the corners. Francoeur, E-stealer, will not be held at first. DeSclafani trying to bear down for this last out. 3-4, and it's a ground ball to second. Ryan Howard grounds it to Phillips, and the Phillies leave 2 on and come away empty-handed here in the third. So after 3 complete, it is Cincinnati 2 and Philadelphia zip. So unfortunately for the Phillies, they just couldn't get it done despite the threat. All right, so Harang led off the inning by striking out. Revere grounded to short. Just putting this all in the computer for myself. A walk and a single. And then a grounder to second. Okay, now we're ready to start the top of the fourth. Eugenio Suarez is your batter. Harang's the pitcher. He's got a fatigue of 6, as does DeSclafani. So we're in the fourth, so everybody's in good shape fatigue-wise. Suarez steps to the plate. He struck out his first chance. Back in. He actually ended the first inning by striking out. So that'll send up Harang to Suarez. 1-11, and that's a pop out to second base. So he pops it up to Chase Utley for out number 1. And it's a good start for Harang. Brings up Marlon Byrd. Mr. Byrd. 3-5, and that's a single for Marlon Byrd. So a 1-out single for Mr. Byrd. He is aboard. He's an E-stealer. He will not be held and will certainly not think about going anywhere. So the Phillies looking to turn 2 here, and they'll be facing the slow-running Brian Pena, so the chance to turn 2 looks to be pretty good. They can get that ground ball. It's a 3-6. It is a ground ball, but it's only a B, so it's just going to be a fielder's choice. They're not able to turn 2. Fielder's choice will go 1-6. And that leaves Pena now at first with 2 down. He will not be held. And the pitcher, DeSclafani, the batter, in that number 8 position. He did single his first chance. That was off Harang's card. 3-5 off his own card is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Reds. They come away empty-handed. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 2-0. Favor the Reds. So let me get this in the computer so I can keep up with what's going on. We got a pop out to second. We got a single. We got a fielder's choice. 1-6, and then we have a strikeout. All right, Freddie Galvis will lead off against DeSclafani to start the bottom of the fourth. And we will go to Galvis, Ashe, and Ruiz. Those are the 3 that are coming up for the Phils. Just out of curiosity, do you guys like this setup better than the old setup? To, seeing the base runners and the outs and the line score, and not necessarily seeing the score sheet. Is that something you guys enjoy more than the other? I remember Robert said, this is a visual thing, so trying to give as much visual as I can to try to add to it a little bit, best I can. But We'll see. Like I said, if people don't like it, then I'll switch back to the old way. All right, here's Galvis to lead it off. His first time up, he flew to left. It's a 4-9 switch hitter. That's a single to right field, so Freddie Galvis, a leadoff single. And he can run, but down 2-0, they may not want to try it. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning. He'd be a B stealer. Pena's arm, let's look at Pena's arm. Pena's throwing arm is a +1, so that would help a little bit. B stealer, though, would drop him to a 10. +1's 11. Only be a 55% chance, and the last time we did that, the runner, Votto, got caught on a 55% chance. So down 2-0, I think they're going to play station to station and leave Freddie Galvis where he is. So here's Ashe. Galvis, of course, is being held on by the Reds. It's a 4-6, and that's a walk, so it may not matter because now they got runners at first and second, and a first real threat for the Phillies in the game because there's nobody out, and they got 2 on. The only problem is they're going to the bottom of the order. So you got Ruiz, Ruff, and then the pitcher spot. So that could be the only thing that holds them down. We'll see. DeSclafani delivers. It's a 4-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is the shortstop Suarez. Now, the regular shortstop Cozart is a 1, but Suarez is only a 3, so definitely getting dinged on defense. 3 and an 8 may get to his error rating, which is not good either. Let's see for shortstop. A 3 and 8 is in the error rating. 8 to 12, you go to the error rating. He is an E33, so E33 is not a good thing to be if you're Suarez. But like I said, Cozart is injured for this game. So E33, let's see what happens with an E33. Maybe we'll get a good roll. 7. E33 shortstop and a 7 is a 1-base error, so that's going to load the bases. So an error by Suarez has now loaded the bases with nobody out, and definitely the real threat coming aboard. Although, like I said, we're at the bottom of the order. Ruff is your batter with the bases loaded. Ruff is up with the bases loaded and nobody out. Infield is playing back for a double play. They desperately need outs. Plus, you got that plus sign right there at the 2-7 mark. That's dangerous. So they are playing back for the double play. 2-4. 2-4 is a ground ball A, so they do get that double play. The run will score because they were playing back for the double play. Run on second does go to third, but the other 2 runners are wiped out. So it's going to go 4-6-3 for the double play. Galvis does score to cut the lead to 2-1, and now you got the pitcher spot Harang to the plate. Ashe does take third, but now there are 2 outs. So Harang is the last chance, and he's not very good at the base paths. Hi, Joel. How are you doing? I don't know if I said hello to you already or not. You enjoy the puns, John, the most. Well, that kind of, that would get Robert in a tizzy, I think, if I did that. So, plus I can't do them. They gotta be off the cuff. I can't plan ahead of time to do puns. They just have to kind of come to me, and it's whether or not I have the self-control to not spew them out. All right, here's Harang. DeSclafani trying to get out of this, but it's off his card, 5-11, but it is a fly to right, and that will get him out of the inning. So the Phillies only come away with 1 run. Could have been worse. At the end of 4, it's Cincinnati 2 and Philadelphia 1. So close ball game, even though they're 2 more or less bottom feeder teams. Although, like I said, the Reds are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Mariners. So they are playing a lot better baseball. So let's get to the computer and put this bottom half in. We got a single for Galvis. We had a walk to Ashe. We had a 1-base error on Mr. Suarez. And then Ruff hit into the 4-6-3 double play. To bring home the run, and then Harang flew to right. Okay, top Top of the 5th we go, and Billy Hamilton will lead off from that number 9 position. He has found the leadoff spot, the way the batting order went around, because Mr. DeSclafani made the last out. So Billy Hamilton will lead things off. Do I have any expectations for the Nationals this year? No, they've gutted their team. I imagine Juan Soto, I think they might have re-signed him, but I was kind of expecting them to trade him too, but I think they had their run in 2019, and you're probably about 4 or 5 years away from anything else good happening there. Dave Martinez will be long gone by then. My opinion, anyway. All right, here's Hamilton, and Hamilton flew to center his first trip. 3-5, and he's going to get a base hit. So Billy Hamilton with a leadoff single, and you know he's a threat to run. Double-A stealer. Double-A stealer, I believe, starts with a 17. Minus 2 speed is a 15. Plus 1 arm is a 16. So 1 to 16, and he will steal second. And he's in there. Stolen base for Billy Hamilton. So Billy Hamilton does Billy Hamilton things. When he does get on base, he wreaks havoc. He's at second base. He will have to be held. And Brandon Phillips back to the top of the order. He singled and flew to left. 3-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop A, so the stolen base at least averted the double play. But with an A, Phillips will not be able to move. Hamilton will not be able to move up, as it's a ground out for 1 away. Here is Skip Schumacher with Hamilton still at second base. 3-6 for Schumacher, and that's a chance for a home run. 1 to 4, 5 to 20 will be a double, so we know Hamilton will score easily. But a 1 to 4, it's gone. It's a double for Skip Schumacher, RBI double. And just like that, the Reds get the run right back that they gave up. And they now take a 3-1 lead on the RBI double for Skip Schumacher. And now Harang getting a little issues. And he just hit last inning, so they only in the 5th, but the bullpen is loosening for the Phillies. They do have left-hander Araujo in the bullpen, loosening just in case. Now at second base, Skip Schumacher doesn't run all that well, so they will not hold him. Here's Joey Votto. Votto singled but got caught stealing last time. 111, and that's another single. Single to left field. Single to left field. The left fielder arm for the Phillies is rough, and he is a +2, so it is a rough arm. So you wonder if they would try to score Schumacher with 1 out. He would run as a 13, not being held makes him a 14. The +2 would make him a 16, so they're definitely going to send him 1 to 16, and he will score. And Ruff threw him out. How do you like that? So Ruff threw him out at the plate to prevent that run. Goes 7-2. That was a rough experience for the Reds there, as they thought they had that going with a 1 to 16, but the odds were not in their favor. And now Votto's at first with now 2 outs, and Votto will have to be held. He will not go anywhere, but he will be held for the Todd father, Todd Frazier. Frazier's 1 for 2, singled in the first, grounded to short in the third. 5-8, and that's bad news there. Boy, that caught stealing really cost him. 1 to 11 is a triple. 12 to 20 is a double, and Harang, this may be the beginning of the end for Harang. That is a 19, so it is a double, so no guaranteed score. Double is assumed to go to center field. Revere is a +3 arm in center field, so that will definitely help. So we'll do the calculations. Votto runs at a 12. He was being held, makes him an 11. There are 2 outs, though, so you pump that up to make him back to a 12. And then you got the +3 arm, makes it a 15. 1 to 15, and he's going to score. And he does. So RBI double for Todd Frazier, scores Votto to make it a 4-1 game. And you wonder how long they're going to go with Harang. There are right-handers coming up, so they may go to a right-hander out of the pen instead of the aforementioned Araujo. Harang will be lifted. They're not going to mess around anymore. So say goodbye to Aaron Harang. He is now lifted, and they will go to their pen Harang ends up pitching 4 2/3 innings, facing 22 batters. But he will leave here in the top of the 5th, trailing 4-1. And the Phillies will bring in Luis Garcia on the 15 season. He was 4-6 with a 3.51 ERA. But let me go back to the Strat computer and get the updated replay stats for Mr. Garcia. First, I've got to put the inning into the computer. So it's a single for Hamilton. He stole second base. Ground out to short by Phillips. But then we had Schumacher with a double. And then Votto singled, but Schumacher was out trying to score. And then we have Frazier double to score Votto. And that's where we stand now at 4-1. 4 runs and 10 hits already for the Reds. They got their hitting shoes on. And Luis Garcia will now be coming into the ball game in relief of the beleaguered Aaron Harang. So Garcia checks in. He is 0-0 with an ERA of 6. In 6 innings pitched, he's given up 9 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. So marginal reliever, but when you're down 4-1, that's who you bring in. You don't bring in your best guys. You bring in the marginal guys. Save the best guys for the tight situations. So here is Suarez facing Garcia. Garcia trying to get this final out. It's a 6-7 ground ball second base X. That's Utley, and that can be questionable because Utley's a 4. 4 and a 3. That's going to get through for a base hit. Just how many stars will it be? A 4 and a 3 is 2 stars, so the run will score. Another run is in, and that's what I get for putting a number there on the score sheet when they're still batting. So I got to learn not to do that, not to be preemptive there. So base hit for Suarez, scores Frazier, and the Hey SDG Replays, how are you doing? Good morning to you, sir. So the RBI single by Suarez scores Frazier. Is now 5-1 in favor of the Cincinnati Reds. Suarez is at first. He will be held because he's a decent base runner, so they will hold him on. Here's Marlon Byrd. Byrd is homered and singled. 6-10, he's going to fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So finally the inning is over. 3 runs come in for the Reds, and they take a 5-1 lead here in Philadelphia. And they've turned that big lead over to DeSclafani. So Byrd flies to right to end the inning. Close the book on Harang. Let's look at his totals on the game as I go to the box score. And for Harang, his final line score, 4 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, all earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and a home run. And he's definitely in line to take yet another loss. But we still got 5 innings, 4.5 innings to go, so anything can happen. The Reds pitching, particularly the bullpen, is not all that great, so the Phillies have a chance at least. And top of the order for the Phillies, it'll be Ben Revere to lead off against DeSclafani. Revere, 0 for 2. He flew to center in the first and grounded to short in the third. 2-3. This time he will get the base hit. Leadoff single for Revere, but down 5-1. They're not going to try stealing any bases anytime soon. But he is the one with the leadoff single. The Phillies need base runners, and so they're probably more station to station. They will go ahead. The Reds will go ahead and hold Revere because he is a threat. Not going to let him get second base free and clear. 1-7, and that is a ground ball second base A with a plus sign. So since he was being held on, that turns into a single 2 stars. Single 2 stars. Now in the super advanced game, that would not happen because the shortstop would be responsible for holding the runner. But in the advanced game, any time you get a plus, no matter who it is, that turns into a single 2 stars. So the fact they held the runner on cost them. That's the price you pay for holding the runner. And now comes Frenchie with a chance to do some damage. Runners at first and third, nobody out. And the Phillies need some runs. Now the runner at first, Chase Utley, is not being held on. 2-7 for Frenchie. It's a ground ball to short, but he's not holding the runner on. So this time it's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. The run will score, but it's a 6-4-3 double play, and that kind of puts the kibosh on the inning. So it's a good thing they weren't holding on Mr. Utley. Instead, it turns into a 6-4-3 double play. No RBI given to Frenchie. You don't get the RBI when you hit into a double play. 2 quick outs. It is now a 5-2 game. Bases are clear for Ryan Howard. So Howard, the batter. 3-6 for Howard. He grounds it right back to DeSclafani, and that's going to end the inning. So it looked promising for the Phillies. Comes up a little short. And we go to the 6th. It's 5-2 in favor of Cincinnati. So it looked like it was going to be a good time for the Phillies to catch up, but just didn't work out that way. So we'll put it in the box score, or in the computer rather, a single by Revere, and then a single from Utley, and then the double play by Francoeur, unfortunately. And then Howard grounding back to the pitcher. All right, so Garcia's back out for his second. He only pitched to 1 batter last inning, so he's still good to go. And he'll be facing the catcher, Brian Pena, to start this top of the 6th. 5-2, favor the Reds. So at least we're getting some offense. But the Phillies rather, would hope the offense would come more their direction. But there's still 3 innings to go, so anything can happen. Garcia to Pena, 1-3. That's a fly to right. If we're doing super advanced, we drop down here and do a split chance. But on advanced, that's simply a fly to right field. And Francoeur puts it away for out number 1. That'll bring up the pitcher, DeSclafani. 2-3. He's going to ground it to short. That's out number 2. 2 up and 2 down, so Garcia may be able to give him an inning and a third. Here's Billy Hamilton with 2 outs and the bases clear. 1-9, he's going to line it to second, and that's going to end the inning. So a very quick top of the 6th. Good outing for Garcia. I think he's done now. Inning and a third, he did what he needed to do. So Garcia pitches an inning and a third, and he faces 5 batters. He is set to bat 5th this inning, so they might pinch hit for him if it gets that far. But he's only got a 1 for relief, so I don't want to wear him out. I think realistically they would cap him at that. So DeSclafani back out. This is his point of weakness inning number 6. So we got to keep an eye on the point of weakness factor. So let's go to the Strat computer and put in this real quick top of the 6th. It was a fly to right, grounder to short, and then a liner to second. All right, so Freddie Galvis will lead off for the Phils against Mr. DeSclafani. 1-6 for Freddie Galvis. He pops it up to second base. Easy play for Phillips. 1 away for Cody Ashe. Ashe doubled and walked, so he's 1 for 1. So we can get something started. 2-6, he does not. He strikes out. So DeSclafani not worried about fatigue. He's just rolling along with that 5-2 lead. Here's Ruiz. It's a 5-9, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for DeSclafani. So 3 up and 3 down on both sides. Very quick 6th inning. Takes care of business. We go to the 7th. Still a 5-2 ball game, so it's still within reach. Only a 3-run deficit, so nothing's certainly been decided. Now, the Phillies will need a new pitcher, as they have sent Garcia to the clubhouse after 1 1/3 innings of pitching. So they will go to yet another right-hander, Jenmar Gomez. So Jenmar Gomez on the 2015 season was 2-3 with a 3.01 ERA. Let's see what he's doing here on the replay as we bring in Jenmar Gomez. Now, Gomez is set to bat second next inning. Is he a multiple inning guy? Yes, he is. So we could see a double switch. Possibly. There will be a double switch. So, since we're in the 7th inning, all rested players can come back in to play. But we're not going to use Herrera yet, because that would mean taking out either Revere or Francoeur. We're not going to do that. But they are going to bring in Andres Blanco. He will come in and play third base, and Cody Ashe will be lifted. So Blanco will bat in the number 9 position and play third base. And the pitcher spot takes over at number 7. So Blanco will be inserted in the number 9 position, and Ashe will sit the rest of this game out. So let's do that maneuver on the computer so I get everything straight. Blanco, bat in the number 9 position, playing third base. And the new pitcher, Jenmar Gomez, batting in Ashe's old number 6 position. So Gomez enters the replay 0-2 with an ERA of 6. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. But they're hoping they can get 2 innings out of him, possibly. Brandon Phillips will be your batter. And just for kicks and giggles, anybody that wanted to see what the score sheet looked like at this point, I can go and take a 6th inning break and show the score sheet so you can see where I'm standing right now. And you can see that Blanco's now down here in the number 9 position, and the pitcher spot has taken Ashe's position. So we have the pitcher here batting 6th. And you can kind of see what people have done as a recap in case you came in late and missed anything. That's the score sheet. I'll show it again at the end of the game. All right. So that's where we're at the moment. We start the top of the 7th. Brandon Phillips, 1 for 3. Singled in the first, flew to left in the second, and grounded to short in the 5th. Gomez, 4-9, and that's a single. So Phillips now 2 for 4 as Gomez gives up the leadoff single to Brandon Phillips. He successfully stole in the first inning. Do they want to try it again? I think they're going to hold him there, but they're not going to try to steal. Schumacher is your batter. .610, and that is a ground ball third base X. And don't you know it, when you bring in a new fielder, the ball finds you. And Blanco is that new fielder. So Blanco comes in right away on the double switch. Fortunately for the Phillies, he is a 2E17, so much better fielder than Ashe was. So as a 2, they got a chance possibly to turn a double play, but we shall see. He is a 2 at third base. 2 and a 5. Let's see what that does for a third baseman. A 2 and a 5 is a ground ball C, so the runner is going to advance. So they're unable to even get the force play. It will simply be a 5-3 ground out with Phillips taking second base. With 1 out, Phillips will be held on second base. Try to hold him close and keep him from getting a big jump. Joey Votto steps to the plate. Votto, 2 for 3, a couple of singles. 5-9 against Gomez. That is a fly ball to left. That's out number 2. So 2 down for Todd Frazier. First base is open. Frazier is 2 for 3. They could have walked him and pitched to Suarez, and I think that's what they're going to do with first base open. They're going to make Suarez do the damage, not let Frazier do the damage. So Frazier, a much better hitter than Suarez is, so They're going to take that chance. It could backfire on him, but that's what Ryne Sandberg has decided to do with first base open. So here is Suarez. Sometimes the guy that is on deck when the other guy gets intentionally walked takes offense to that. We'll see if that happens. Suarez is 1 for 3. 5-12. Ground ball pitcher X. He is a 2-E-0, so we know he cannot make an error. The matter is, can he get to it? And on the pitcher spot, you don't get a whole lot of range chances. So the only way it can be a base hit is we roll a 1, 2, or 3, or 18, 19, or 20. Other than that, anything between 4 and 17, and he's going to make the play. And he does. So it's a good play for Gomez. That's going to end the inning because of that 0 error rating. He could not make an error. So the strategy of the intentional walk actually paid off and worked out for the Phillies. So we go to the 7th inning stretch. Sing your, as RJL would say, sing your take me out to the ball games, as I put in this stuff on the computer to finish things out. Okay, bottom of the 7th we go. DeSclafani, his fatigue was a 6, but he had a 1, 2, 3, 6 innings, so he has no dings against his point of weakness, so he is still out there. And he is scheduled to bat 3rd next inning, so they'd love to be able to get him through this inning and then pinch hit for him. Darren Ruff, Andres Blanco, who came in on the double switch, and then Revere. Those are the 3 batters that are coming up. Now, of course, Herrera could come in because we're in the 7th, so it's possible that they could use him to pinch hit for Ruff, and that may be what they're going to opt for here. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pull Darren Ruff, and they're going to bring in a pinch hitter, and it will be Herrera. So Odubel Herrera, who had to rest, since we're now in the 7th, he can come back in, and he will take over in, actually he'll take over in center field, and Revere will move to left field, is the way they'll play that. So Herrera will come in and he will bat in the number 8 position and take over in center field to start the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Herrera, Blanco, and Revere. So Darren Ruff's day is done. Darren Ruff's not a bad hitter, but Herrera's a better hitter. And on the game, Ruff was 0 for 2, hit into a double play last time, so they're trying to go for some more offense here if possible. On the replay, Herrera is only hitting 196, though, in 51 at-bats, a homer and 3 driven in. So could question this move by Mr. Ryne Sandberg, but that's he's trying to be aggressive, get something started. 3-8, and he struck him out, so maybe that move wasn't so good after all. But you never know till you try it. So strikeout. For Andres Blanco, and of course this is his first time up to the plate after the double switch, so I'll give you his replay numbers as well. So Blanco is hitting 227 in 22 at-bats, a homer and 3 runs driven in, so limited duty. Kind of a utility guy that fills in here and there. Switch hitter. 6-8 rather against the lefty here is a double. So how about that? Blanco gets a 1-out double, and that is the first ding against the point of weakness for DeSclafani. So the Reds bullpen might start to stir just a touch. Here's Ben Revere. In fact, the Reds bullpen is loosening. Manny Parra, the lefty, is loosening in the bullpen. Right now is Ben Revere's time. And runner at second. Blanco does not run all that well. He will not be held, particularly with a 5-2 game. Revere 2-9, and that's a ground ball to second. That will get the runner over. Even though it says B, advance, doesn't move the runner over. That's that one adjustment I made. Anything to the right side, a guy on second will take third. That's just my little house rule on this advance thing. Just because it makes sense. Makes baseball sense. So 2 down. And it's up to Chase Utley to get it done, so it won't matter about him being at third if Chase Utley doesn't get the base hit here. Utley has done well, though. He's single, doubled, and walked, so he's had a really good game so far, but now he's got a big one with the runner on third. That could make it a 5-3 game and really close the gap. But he's got to get it done. 3-6. He does not. He grounds it back to DeSclafani, and that's the end of the inning. So he might have reached base previously, but when it counted, he did not. So Chase Utley came up short. And now we go to the 8th inning. And that'll be all for DeSclafani. His day is done. And again, the Phillies come up a little bit empty on what they wanted. So a double by Blanco after the strikeout, but that went to waste on a ground out to second. And then the ground out back to the pitcher. So we need to make some defensive changes on the computer. Mr. Herrera will move in the game to play center field. And Revere will move from center field to left field. Genmar Gomez will stay in the game. Let's see here. So Genmar Gomez, because he does have 2 for relief, so he will stay in the game. He'll be facing Bird, Pena, and a pinch hitter for DeSclafani. So we'll look on the Reds bench very shortly to see who they have available to pinch hit. All right, Marlon Byrd starts off the 8th, 5-2, Cincinnati in the lead. 4-7, and that's a single. So Genmar Gomez gives up a leadoff single to Marlon Byrd. And the Philly bullpen starting to stir again. As this time the left-hander is back up. It is Elvis Araujo up again, loosening the bullpen. Brian Pena is going to be your batter. The catcher. And Pena, 0 for 3. Flew to center, hit into a fielder's choice, and flew to right. .38 for Pena. That's a ground ball, second base A. That's a 4-6-3 double play. And just what the doctor ordered for Genmar Gomez, got him out of that. Now there's 2 outs, bases empty, and that can affect who they want to pinch hit now because there's nobody on base. So let's see how they're going to play this. We have the single for Bird and then the 4-6-3 double play. And now for DeSclafani, the Reds will go to their bench. And let's see who they want to bring on. They're going to bring on, with the bases cleared, they're going to bring on Brennan Bosch. Not a very good hitter, but you got to use him at some point, so they're going to use him now. Brennan Bosch. And then, of course, more importantly, they need a new pitcher. So Brennan Bosch will be coming on for the Reds to pinch hit. On the 2015 season, he was only a 146 hitter in 89 at-bats. On the replay, he's 1 for 9, which is a 111 average, no homers or runs driven in. But like I said, you're up 5-2. The bases are clear with 2 outs, so really, you don't want to use one of your better hitters and burn them that way. So Brennan Bosch it is. And Genmar Gomez trying to get this final out and send it to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 5-11. That's a fly ball right field X. That's Francoeur, and he is a 2. 2 and a 15. I believe that's going to be a good play, not go to his error rating. Let's check it out. 2 and a 15 is a fly ball C, which is definitely good enough. So Francoeur puts it away, and the Reds are disposed of here in the top of the 8th. That's going to be it for Genmar Gomez. His day is done. Now for the Reds, they will have to go to their bullpen and see what they got going on. Coming up for the Phillies, let's see who they have coming up. They got Francoeur, Howard, and Galvis. So you got righty, lefty, and a switch. Then the pitcher spot. So it really almost doesn't matter, righty or lefty, who you bring in. Just bring in who you think is the best guy to bring in. Let's see who they're going to go to here. Do they have a setup guy they trust to get before it goes to Chapman? They're going to bring in Jumbo Diaz and give him a shot. So Jumbo Diaz on the 15 season. Jumbo Diaz was 2-1 with a 4.18 ERA and a save. So they're going to tentatively trust Jumbo Diaz. And we'll get you the numbers here on DeSclafani. He goes 7 innings, faces 29 batters. And we'll get his numbers as well for the actual game. So the new pitcher is going to be Jumbo Diaz. And now we'll go to the box score to get the final line on DeSclafani, who pitched very well. Obviously is in line to get the victory. So DeSclafani officially goes 7 innings, gives up 7 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. And as I said, he is definitely in line to get the victory if the bullpen can hold it. Jumbo Diaz on the replay, 0-1 with a 12.15 ERA, 7 innings pitched, 12 hits, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts, and 2 homers. So his replays have not been friendly, but Manny Parra and the lefty in the Reds bullpen is loosening just in case Jumbo gets into trouble. So Jumbo it is against Mr. Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur. So Francoeur on the game, 1 for 3, did hit into a bad double play his last time up. But he's going to lead off the bottom of the 8th in a 5-2 game. Against Jumbo Diaz, 3-7, always hits in column 3, and he found a ground ball to short. Bad luck there for Frenchie. He grounds to short. Suarez makes the play, throws to first, and there's 1 away for Ryan Howard. That's a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. You can see the white die shows a 5, but it is leaning, so I don't think that's official, or should be official. So not quite Suadice, but it's a leaner, so we'll re-roll. That's a 6-6, and that's a walk. So a walk to Ryan Howard. He will definitely not be held. He's a very slow runner, so he will not be held. But it's not going to pinch hit for him because we're not looking to try to steal a run or anything. So here's Freddie Galvis. 4-9, and look at this. 1-16 is a home run, and he does have normal power. So 1-16, we got a 5-4 game, and Jumbo may be short-lived. It's a 6, it's gone. A 2-run home run for Freddie Galvis. And just like that, it's a 5-4 game, and Jumbo may be on the verge of leaving this game. Big home run for Freddie Galvis, not known for his power, but they put him in the 5th spot, and it paid off. 2-run homer. And now we got a pitcher. Now we got a pinch hitter coming up for Jenmar Gomez. So let's see who the Phillies want to go off their bench to pinch hit. They've already used Herrera off the bench. Let's see who they might use now. They've got 2 guys available, Cesar Hernandez and Darnell Sweeney. So I think Hernandez is the logical choice. Hernandez, a .272 hitter on the 2015 season. And Sweeney has not played yet this season, so might want to bring him in when it's a little bit more of a quieter situation. You don't want to bring him in and his first at bat be high leverage. So that walk before the home run was the big killer, though. So now we're going to have Cesar Hernandez, and he's a switch hitter, so they could bring in the lefty to turn him around. According to the computer, Cesar Hernandez does hit better against lefties, so they're going to keep him in there against the righty. And his card does bear it out. He hits better against lefties. So they're going to keep the righty Diaz in there, but he's definitely on a short leash. So bottom of the 8th, 5-4 now, and Cesar Hernandez, the pinch hitter for Jenmar Gomez. So Gomez pitched 2 innings and faced 9 batters. Actually faced 8 batters. So the Phillies went a new pitcher in the 9th as well. So Hernandez against Diaz. 1-3, it's a fly to right. That's out number 2. So a failed pinch hitting proposition there. And now that brings up the catcher, Carlos Ruiz. 2 outs, bases clear. 6-9, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Jumbo Diaz gets out of the rest of the inning. But the 2-run dinger makes it a 5-4 game. And now you wonder what they're going to do, being the Phillies. They have to bring in a new pitcher. So let's see, a fly to right by the pinch hitter Hernandez. And then Ruiz strikes out to end the inning. So we need a new pitcher for the Phils. And let's see who that's going to be. They could bring in Papelbon because he hasn't really pitched all that much. See who else hasn't pitched a lot. Actually, let's see who's coming up for the Reds. They got Hamilton, Phillips, and Schumacher. So switch right, left. So it really doesn't matter, I guess, in the long run. Maybe bring in the best you got. I don't know. Actually, they're going to bring in Hector Neris. So Hector Neris is going to come on. And he will take over here in the top of the 9th. On the replay, Neris 1-1 with a 3.86 ERA, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. So Hector Neris, the 4th pitcher used by the Phils. And of course, Diaz is only going to go to 1 inning. Jumbo is only going to go 1 inning. And they're going to set it up for the bottom of the 9th to turn it over to Aroldis Chapman. Assuming the score stays what it is, or there's still a safe situation, they will go to Chapman in the 9th. But right now, it's up to Hector Neris to keep it close. And the first man up for the Reds here in the 9th will be Billy Hamilton. So he's back in the leadoff spot again to lead off the inning. 5-4 game here on this Saturday morning. Appreciate all you guys that came out to watch, or those that will watch later. Here's Billy Hamilton to lead it off against Neris. 1-7, and he's going to strike out. So Billy Hamilton retired to start the 9th. And back to the top of the order, and Brandon Phillips. Aroldis Chapman is loosening in the bullpen, ready to come in the bottom of the 9th. 6-11. Let me check the injury rating. That's one thing I forgot to do for Hector Neris. This could be an injury roll for him as a 6-11. So let's check Hector Neris' injury rating. Hector Neris from the Phillies is a 1, so 6-12 is his error rating, so he escapes that. So 6-11 will be a single. He didn't escape the single. Brandon Phillips does get the base hit. Now, he could be looking to run since it's a 1-run game now. They may need his running prowess. And again, he's an A, which starts as a 15, being held, drops him by 2, makes him a 13, but the +1 from Ruiz is a 14. So 1-14, he's going to try to steal a second base of the game. And he does. So Brandon Phillips gets himself into scoring position. The second stolen base of the game. That brings up Skip Schumacher. So with Schumacher and Votto coming up, Neris will be lifted. They will go to a lefty. You're going to play the percentages. So Neris didn't hang around long. He pitches a third of an inning, faced 2 batters. And they're going to go to Araujo, the lefty out of the bullpen, for the Phillies. So Elvis Araujo is your new pitcher. Mr. Araujo, on the 15 season, he was 2-1 with a 3.38 ERA, no saves. Let's see what he did on the replay. Let's check that out. So Hamilton struck out. Phillips singled and stole second base. And now we bring in to face the lefty. They will go to Elvis Araujo. Or will they? You know what? They changed their mind. They're going to go to the other lefty, Jake Diekman. So we will not do Elvis. Elvis is going to leave the building temporarily. And they're going to go to Jake Diekman instead. 2-1, 5.15 ERA. So Jake Diekman actually gets the call, not Araujo. So let me fix that. Jake Diekman is getting the call to face Schumacher and Votto. So it will be Diekman. And on the replay, Diekman is 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. So let's see what Diekman can do. He is the lefty they were looking for. Instead of Elvis, they're going to go to Diekman, take a chance. Schumacher, the batter. Phillips, of course, being held at second. Important insurance run if they can get it. 5-9 struck him out. Diekman comes in and strikes out Schumacher for out number 2. And now here's Joey Votto, and the question is, do you pitch to Votto? He's 2 for 4, but you got Frazier right behind him, so you're really in a betwixt and between here. You could bring in a right-hander to pitch to Frazier if you intentionally walk Votto, but then you run into all kinds of problems. What do they want to do? That's the question. They're gonna intentionally walk. They're gonna give the intentional walk to Votto, and they will bring in a right-hander, Ken Giles, to face Frazier. So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to play the percentages that way, thinking that Frazier is less of a threat than Votto. So Ken Giles will be the new fifth pitcher used, actually sixth pitcher used by Philadelphia. So Ken Giles will come on, try to get this last out here in the 9th inning. Try to keep the score where it is. On the 15 replay, Ken Giles was 6-3 with a 1.80 ERA, and he got 15 saves after Papelbon was traded. So we'll see what he did here in the replay as we bring him on to face the Todd father. Ken Giles will be coming on. And on the replay, Ken Giles is 0-0, ERA of 0. 7 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. So he's been dominant, and that's what the Phillies need to keep the score right where it is. So second guessers can figure out if we should have done that move or not. We shall see. But it's been done, so got to live with it. Runners at first and second, 2 down. 5-4 game, and Giles is kind of trying to keep it that way. It's a 4-5 against Giles, and boy, did that backfire. 1-4 is a triple, 5-20 is a single, 2 stars. That's a single, 2 stars, and that will be an insurance run for the Reds as Frazier comes through with a big base hit to score Brandon Phillips. The lead is now 6-4. Votto will take third, and so the intentional walk backfires on the Phillies, and all Sandberg can do from the dugout is scratch his head. So Giles trying to compose himself. I'm going to go out and talk to him. And he's got to face another decently tough hitter in Eugenio Suarez, so can't get down on himself. He's got to regroup and get this final out and keep his team in the game. Although Aroldis Chapman has now been given another run to work with. So Suarez is up with runners at the corners and 2 away. Giles trying to rebound. And a run on first. Frazier will be held. He's a good base runner, so they're going to hold him on. 6-8 struck him out, so Giles gets the strikeout, but it's too little too late as he gave up that big base hit. And that insurance run, which is now on the board. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. It is 6-4. Favor the Reds, and they will be turning to Aroldis Chapman out of the pen. Aroldis Chapman will be coming on. Get the numbers on Chapman for the replay. Chapman in the replay is 1-1. His ERA is 5.40, so he's had a little bit of struggles. He only pitched 3 innings all year, though. He does have 2 saves, but in 3 innings pitched, he's given up 5 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So the Reds haven't had a whole lot of close games for him to close out. But he is there now to try to do so. And he has a 2-run lead to work with. So Aroldis Chapman, 4-4, 1.63 ERA and 33 saves in real life. And he's trying to close out the Phillies. And he'll be doing so facing Herrera, Blanco, and Revere for the Phillies. But they really don't have much on the bench to pinch hit. The only pinch hitters they have remaining is the switch hitter Darnell Sweeney, who hit 176 on the season, and their backup catcher Eric Kratz, who hit 192. So they're kind of stuck with what they've got. 6-4 game, bottom of the ninth. We go. Now let's total up everything here on Giles and Diekman. All right. Chapman now facing Herrera to start the ninth inning. Lefty on lefty. 5-11, and that's a strikeout. So Chapman starts the ninth with a K. Here's Blanco, switch hitter. Came in as part of the double switch. 4-11 against the right-hander is a strikeout. So Chapman, 2 strikeouts in a row. And now it's all up to Ben Revere if the Phillies want to keep this game going. Revere, 1 for 4. Did score a run. 2-5 against the lefty, and he will keep the game going. What, did you expect a 1-2-3 ninth inning in the Demolition League? Not hardly. 2-5 is a 1-9 double, 10-20 single. That's a double. So how about that? A Ben Revere double. I don't know if the British are coming, but the Phillies are trying to come back as Revere rides on to second base. Gets on his horse and rides to second base. And that's the best I can do for a pun on short notice. So with 2 outs, Utley the batter, he is the tying run. Doesn't hit all that well against lefties, but like I said, they don't have much on the bench, so we're going to have to stick with Utley and see what he can do against Chapman. 4-7, and that's a walk, so the inning continues. Chapman had first 2 batters, you figure he was good to go, but now he's running into issues. And who comes up now but Frenchie? Frenchie is the winning run. If Frenchie happens to go deep, the Phillies will come back with an improbable victory of all time. But you never know. Francoeur has struggled. He's 1 for 4. Does hit pretty well against lefties in that column 3 if he can find it. Nobody's being held on base. 2 outs, 6-4. That's a fly ball center field X. That's Billy Hamilton. And Hamilton, as a center fielder, is a 1. So pretty good chance he will make this catch. That's a 7, though. So you don't know. It could go to an error check. Let's see. Center fielder. 1 and a 7, though, will be a fly ball C, and that will do it. Billy Hamilton puts it away, and the Reds put away the Phillies, and the Phillies' woes continue. And give the save to Chapman. And we'll get the final box score for you, or line score, or whatever you want to call it. Francoeur just couldn't quite get it done. But there was at least a little bit of excitement here in the ninth. Reds have now won 4 in a row, coming off the sweep of the Mariners, and now they beat the last place Phillies. And as we pull up the standings that I had printed out earlier, or not printed out, but written out earlier, the Phillies dropped to 4-12. They're now 7 games behind the Mets. Reds are now 7-9. They're 4 games behind the Mets. So they went from 3-9 to 7-9 just that quickly. And it's 4 in a row will do that for you. So let's go to the final score here. Final line score for the Reds: 6 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error. They left on 8. For the Phillies, 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They also left on 8. The winning pitcher was DeSclafani. He gets his first win of the year. He's now 1-2. The loss goes to Aaron Harang. He takes his first loss of the year. He's 2-1. And the save goes to Aroldis Chapman, his third of the season. So again, final line score 6-15-1 versus 4-9-0. They both left on 8. So there's your final score sheet. It's kind of messy. When I'm not showing it on the camera, I kind of don't worry about how messy it is. I just do it to so that I know that I can understand it. But anyway, there is your final score sheet, if you want to call it that. Yep, John, 86 opening week for the NBC Game of the Week. 1986, it'll be inside pitch for week 1. And it'll be the Mets going to Veterans Stadium to take on the Phillies. That was the actual first NBC Game of the Week of 1986, so we'll be playing that. The second week of 1986, that second Saturday, I'm not sure what the game of the week actually was, but like I said, I went to Baseball Reference, looked at the day games, and picked the best day game I could find. So the second game that we played 2 weeks from today will be on payoff pitch, and it will be the Yankees at the Brewers. So those are the first 2 weeks. And then week 3 will be either APA or Strat-O-Matic. I haven't decided that one yet. And week 4 will be the other game, because I do have the 4 game engines I'm going to rotate: inside pitch, payoff pitch, Strat-O-Matic, and APA, as I had the 86 season, all of those. As Robert says, tomorrow he's got a game between the Yankees and the White Sox, 1979 replay inside pitch. So all things inside pitch, Robert is the expert. So if you've got any questions on how the game is played or rules or whatever, he did a pretty good, I thought it was a pretty good Q&A video a little while ago to help explain the game. So I think once you understand the base running and the concepts of the base running, inside pitch actually flows very, very well. And the base running makes sense when you understand it, because it really incorporates the runner rating and the arm rating and whatnot. And it's not just like, payoff pitch to use the fast action cards is very easy to use, but you get a generic result when you flip it over. It just says they go 1 base, they go 2 bases, but there's no interaction to find out if the base runner is slow, fast, or whatever, or who it's hit to. But that's just the way it goes. When I play payoff pitch, though, I do use the fast action cards for two things, for defense and for base running. Other than that, I use the charts and the dice. But I do use the fast action cards for the base running, for runner advancement and for error checks and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to it. 1986, wonderful season. It's one of the more popular seasons because of the Mets and the Red Sox being, in the World Series and whatnot. But I think what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to show every team, at least once if I can. There may be a team or two that gets left out. They're really bad teams, but I'm going to try not to overload the Mets or the Yankees, but they are on the first 2 weeks of the season. That's just what NBC did, so what are you going to do? Any game that I know was actually an NBC game of the week, I will play that game, so that's the way that goes. So in this one, the Reds get the victory, improved to 7-9. Phillies dropped to 4-12. The Reds will now get Zach Cozart back for the next game, so that will certainly help their defense and whatnot. Do appreciate everybody that came by on the live stream and caught this game this morning, and certainly appreciate all those that will watch it later. Thank you to John Solner, the replay gamer, Larry Harris, Manuel Rivera, B.R. Wells, of course Robert from RJL Network, John West, BB, Brad Church. Let's see, who am I missing here? John Solner. If I didn't say you, I apologize. Let's see, I think that covers everybody that I can see until I get to the bottom. And we got Joel Turney. Thank you for showing up and being a part of the broadcast. You say, I didn't catch an old thing you said, you like knowing the batting order. Yeah, it's if you give up one, you got to give up something. If you do one thing, you got to kind of give up something else. There's not enough room to do everything, unfortunately. SDG Replays, thank you for being a part of this for Saturday morning. It's about 11 o'clock Eastern now, so about an hour and a half in, I think, or thereabouts. So probably a good time to put the finishing touches and wrap this one up. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Stephen Perota, if I didn't mention you, thank you for coming by. And I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize, but I'm going through the chat room now, the old chat, backing up here and trying to find everybody. I thought there was John West in here, and maybe I mentioned him and maybe I didn't. Sometimes it's confusing to do all that. But anyway, thank you guys for participating and watching the video. I know these teams are not the best teams in the world, but it was a fun game, 6-4. Had some excitement going down to the final innings. Chapman made it interesting in the ninth, but was able to pull off the save. Next video, we'll go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Like I said, I jumped ahead on the Reds because they got overlooked last time in Series 5. So the next video will be the San Francisco Giants against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then after that, it'll be Houston at Tampa and Seattle at Boston to finish out Series 6, the game ones of Series 6. And then these will be, played offline, not played offline, but they'll be recorded and uploaded during the week sometime. Hopefully I can get all three in this week and record them so that next Saturday I'm ready to go for the 1986. And then I'll play games 2 and 3 of each of these series offline and get caught up to Series 7. So at some point we can get going with Series 7. So that's going to do it from here in the 2015 Strat-O-Matic Demolition League. Next Saturday, of course, high noon Eastern. It'll be inside pitch. First game of the NBC game of the week. The New York Mets facing the Philadelphia Phillies. Pitching matchup of Sid Fernandez, against Steve Carlton. And I will have all the players because inside pitch gives you all the players. I'll have their 25-man rosters, or 24-man rosters, whatever it was. I'll have all those set up for you. And as much pomp and circumstance as I am limited to do, I will do the best I can with pomp and circumstance because it is kind of like the opening game or opening day. So until next time, as usual, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Have a good day, everybody.